Today we're addressing dry, thin pork chops.
Your mom's pork chops, your dad's pork chops, your aunt's pork chops, your uncle's pork chops, your wife's pork chops, probably pretty bad.
We're going to show you how to cut your own pork chops and make wonderful, juicy pork chops on a gas grill.
If you like what you see in this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and please watch the video for a minute so we can afford these pork chops on a gas grill today.
Do you have problems with dry, thin pork chops? It's not you, it's your technique. Is that still you?
So here's the deal. We're not buying pre-cut pork chops. We're actually buying a whole pork loin and cutting them into chops, and here's why.
When we cut our own pork chops, we're able to determine the thickness we want our pork chops, the number of pork chops we get out of the pork loin, and ultimately our cost per pork chop. That's why we like cutting them down from a pork loin.
What Joe's trying to say is he prefers to spend under $2 a pork chop because it's cheap.
Bluff City grub's cheap.
It's cheap.
Trying to turn a profit here.
That's not it.
That's not it? All right, so we got a whole pork loin here. We got this from Kroger, and this is actually what it looks like before Butcher gets a hold of it. But we're gonna cut these into about 1.5 inch slices. So we're gonna go here. Sometimes I use my knife. You can see that's probably about 2 inches, so just go 1.5 inches. All right, so we're just gonna make some pork chops nice and 1.5 inches thick. Just like that. You wanna make sure these pork chops are nice and thick, and this is one of the keys to make sure these bad boys don't dry out while you're cooking them on a gas grill.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Nice 1.5 inch thickness. Got your end cut there. All right, so we have all our pork chops sliced. They're looking delicious already. Fat cap on this side. I got everything nice and uniform. We're gonna go ahead and pat these bad boys dry. They just came out of the package. Now, normally I like to brine my pork chops, but just for the sake of time today, I'm not going to. But if you want some extra juicy pork chops, if you look in the description below, there's a link to our other pork chop video. I'll go through a full method on how to make a brine for your pork chops. Go ahead and flip these over and dry the other side. So we have a little salt and pepper mixture here. It's a coarse grind. Then we also have some of our Bluff City pork rub. So I'm gonna come with a base layer of salt and pepper right there on top. Nice and generous, just like that. And then we're gonna come over the top of it with a little bit of this barbecue rub that we made up. We're good, just like that. So we didn't add a binder in there, but we're using a little avocado cooking spray here, and we're just gonna spray the top of these pork chops. You can spray these guys anytime, and then you're just gonna take your hand and just kind of rub that mixture in, just like that. Nice even coating. Pork chops are gonna come out delicious on a gas grill. Now we're gonna flip these guys over and get the other side.
All right, we've got our gas grill set up for a direct cook on our thick and juicy pork chops that we're cooking today. We've got all 3 burners on, somewhere around medium, low, and we're not so worried about the temperature of our grill as we are the temperature of our GrillGrate. We've upgraded our gas grill here to contain some GrillGrates. First thing, we're gonna put a little avocado oil to prevent any sticking of our pork chops on the gas grill. Just put a light coating on there. We want to cook somewhere around 500 on our GrillGrates, and you can see we're right in there, 495. So this gas grill is ready to go. First thing I like to do is just take that pork chop, just kind of ball it up a little bit and put it right there on the GrillGrate. Just give it a little firm press. And we're going to be rotating these pork chops every 1.5 minutes until we get all 4 sides seared, and then we're going to take these pork chops, move them up to the top rack. We'll finish them off on an indirect cook, and that's part of the technique we use here in Bluff City to make sure we're not overcooking these pork chops and they come out juicy every time. Okay, we're about 1.5 minutes in, and to get those beautiful hatch marks we're looking for on a gas grill, we're going to go ahead and use our spatula. Go ahead and give it almost a 90-degree rotation.
Pretty cool spatula.
Yeah, it makes it easier, makes it where we can pick up the meat without tearing, and of course you can see how that pork just released right off those GrillGrates. Okay, so we're about 3 minutes in on our pork chops on the gas grill. And one of the things we want to do is make sure we kind of rotate these pork chops around. All gas grills don't cook evenly, and one of the things we can do to make sure we have quality pork chops is make sure we kind of rotate them around the grill. We're going to take these ones from the back and just move them to the front. Oh, look at them grill marks, Greg. One of the downsides of using this type of spatula is it doesn't really work great on the top rack, but we're just gonna go ahead and flip them on over. Sit these right on down. Of course, these pork chops are looking fantastic, and you can basically tell by the grill marks, the hottest part of the grill was probably back here where this pork chop was sitting, but everything's looking great. Another 1.5 minutes, we'll get these rotated and up to the top rack. Okay, we've been cooking around 4.5, 5 minutes. We're on to our final turn for our pork chops on the gas grill. Gonna go ahead and get these guys rotated. it's a good time to go ahead and temp your pork chops. So as we temp our pork chops, we're looking for 145, maybe even 142 before we pull these. And you can see right now, after 4.5 minutes on the grill, we're at 111, 112 degrees. So everything's looking good. We're gonna go another 1.5 minutes, move these up to the top rack to finish them off. All right, we've been cooking for about a total of 6 minutes. Now we are gonna do one final kind of rotation. I'm just gonna take the ones in the center and move them to the outer. Now the reason we go to the top rack is it's kind of more of an indirect cook up here. They're not exposed to the direct flames underneath the grill grates. And we'll just kind of finish our pork chops off on the top rack until they reach that internal temperature of around 142.
All right, we got our pork chops on the top rack. They're finishing cooking off. We've turned the heat down to low so they can slowly finish cooking up. But we're gonna add another layer of flavor. You know how we do it here at Bluff Grill. And then we're gonna come back with our herb butter. We're just gonna get that right on the top of our pork chops. Let that melt into the meat as they finish cooking off. Watch out for flare-ups. We're gonna shut the lid. Let these guys finish cooking off.
One thing is we like to do here that makes pork chops juicy or steaks juicy is we kind of sometimes we'll season our cutting board. We're gonna go prepare for the 8 pork chops we have coming off. We're gonna go ahead and get some of this herb butter on our cutting board, and then we're gonna hit it with a little more seasoning, which is gonna add another layer of flavor. Now, as these pork chops rest and the muscles relax, the thought process is this is gonna suck up some of that moisture or seasoning into the pork chops, adding another layer of flavor.
Our pork chops probably been on for 12 to 15 minutes here. Got some butter on there. They're looking delicious. Let's go ahead and temp one of these bad boys and see where we're at. We're at 129 on this one. Let's go to this one in the back. All right, that one's at 145. You want to pull your pork chops around 142 to 145. So we're gonna go ahead and get this guy off of our gas grill. Pick this guy up. We're gonna put him right there on that butter. Your thinner pork chops are probably done as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get those off. Put that right there on our seasoned cutting board, just like that. Let's temp these other ones here. That was perfect as well. I think the only one we have left cooking is our bigger pork chop. I think that's the end piece there, so we'll let that cook for another minute or so before we take him off. All right, let's get that last pork chop off of the grill. Perfect. All right, we got our pork chops off of our gas grill. They're nice and stacked up and looking pretty for YouTube here today.
Look at that juice just running off.